Hey everybody, I'm Jonny Harris. We're at the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, and tonight's theme is quit your day job, right folks? Tonight we are saying quit your day job. We are saying stick it to the man, am I right? We are saying stick it to the man. And sorry, hey, the producers want me to go backstage. They don't like my tie. I gotta go change my tie. Let's get the show going, okay? I'm in big trouble. This is bad.
The Winnipeg Comedy Festival proudly presents Quit Your Day Job. And now the CEO of Funny, your host, Jonny Harris.
Very kind, very kind. Thank you. Welcome to the Winnipeg Comedy Festival. I am your host, Jonny Harris. Tonight, our theme is quit your day job. Now, we are all familiar with the old phrase, the dig, the burn, the razz, don't quit your day job, which you say to somebody who is doing something poorly, usually of an artistic nature, singing or playing an instrument, and you suggest that they not make a career out of it. But tonight, we say quit your day job. Go for it. We are putting a positive, encouraging, motivating spin on things. This is a statement now of motivation. And of course, we all know how good comics are at having a positive take on things. But we are saying that if somebody tells you to quit your day job, it means follow your passion. I guess you could say that I followed my passion. I went to theater school, but at behest of my parents. I might have the only parents in history to suggest theater school to their kid. But it was only because I was so terrible at everything else. And I didn't really have any other interests. Like, by the time I finished high school, the only thing I was doing besides theater was riding dirt bikes and smoking. And I wasn't really good at those things. Right? I think when my mom first caught me smoking, she was most disappointed because I wasn't inhaling properly. She was like, oh my God, Jonathan, I can't believe you're smoking. Kind of. Even my grandparents used to bother me to get a day job. They weren't the kind to slip me some cash on the side. My grandfather would always say to me, by the time I was your age, I had a day job. And then he would pretend to take my nose. And I remember thinking at the time, okay, first of all, Pop, I'm 7. Second of all, I'm pretty sure my nose didn't have a gnarly old yellow thumbnail on it. After theater school, I worked a variety of Joe jobs, I guess you could say. I washed cars at a car dealership in St. John's for a while. You really got to be careful not to mix up your whites with your colors. I tell you, mix up red with white and end up with pink, you better hope you had a Cadillac. But I will say that waxing cars made me buff. I worked in a call center for a while in St. John's. I was customer support for a cell phone company based out of the southern United States. Like, how weird is that? And that was in Newfoundland. That was long before anybody had a cell phone in Newfoundland. I always remember thinking, that's so weird for a mobile company in the southern U.S. to set up shop in Newfoundland. And then I realized, cheap labor. This was like 15 years ago. We were the Mexico of the North. We'd work for next to nothing. And the bonus is, going to Newfoundland over Mexico, is that we speak English. Or, English-ish. Thinking back now, that must have been some pretty interesting conversations, right? Now, do I get free incoming calls from my family on evenings and weekends? Oh, yes, my lover, your mother, and your brother can call you as long as they want. As long as they stays within the regional zoning parameters, yes, my ducky. All right, folks, are you ready for your first act for the evening? When you work in a fast food restaurant and you're young, you worry your entire summer will be, do you want fries with that? When you work in a fast food restaurant and you're old, you worry that your entire eulogy will be, he asked for it to go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Graham Chittenden.
Thank you. Thanks. This is what every job should start with. A big round of applause. Yeah. The one you were giving me was good enough. I just was saying, this is a great way to start your day. Instead of sneaking in the back because you're 10 minutes late. This is a much better way to start. I appreciate it now, though. I miss my first job. I didn't miss it then. I miss it now. I worked at McDonald's. That was my first job. That first crappy job. I liked it. Looking back now, great job. I made $6.40 an hour. And at the time, I had zero heating costs, zero insurance, zero alimony. It was a lot of money. I got the job with that first crappy resume. That should be a tip-off. I was nervous it wasn't going to be good enough. That first, you know, that resume for your first job? What's on that resume? It was just my address in 20-point font. You give it double-spaced. Give your postal code its own line. Don't want them to get confused when they mail those huge checks. I was not qualified. I wasn't making food for myself at that point. Most kids at McDonald's don't make their own food. My mom would make me dinner, and then she would drive me to work, and then I would make dinner for the rest of the town. That's how little I was in on that. And I worked there during that sort of ghetto. Remember McDonald's kind of went through a bit of a ghetto period from 1970 to 2010? You remember that? Just looked like a prison cafeteria was open to the public. Remember it kind of... But I will tell you, they're trying to do a good job. They try. But they just have people like me working there. So it can only be so good. We didn't care. So let me tell you something about McDonald's. I'm going to give you some secrets on the food. You know that video of that person who bought that cheeseburger and they took it home and it didn't go bad? And you were outraged? You're wrong about being outraged. You should not have been mad. That's a good thing. You need that. You don't want a time-sensitive meal from McDonald's because you don't know when I made it. We didn't keep track. People are so mad that this food doesn't go bad. You bought this cheeseburger at 11:45 p.m. from 3 unsupervised teenagers. You want some kind of antibacterial chemicals in that burger. Trust me. That hand sanitizer in that bun, that's for you. That's not for me. We've been messing around. I couldn't tell you when we cooked it. If you don't like people who waste food, then good for us, because we didn't throw anything away. We kept it until it was time to sell it. That's how it worked. Ask anyone who works at McDonald's. There's a heat tray. It's like we pre-cook all the burgers, 9 at a time, and then we put them in these little trays. It used to look like a microwave oven. You'd set them in there, and you'd set a timer for 25 minutes. And when that timer ran down, you had to reset the timer and pretend you had fresh burgers. Even I thought we had to cook new burgers at first shift. They went bad, and I'm like, do we have to cook new burgers? And some guy was like, why? We have fresh ones right here. And I'm like, that's why you're the manager. That's why you're the guy. Yep, because you're smarter than me. Like, if I could do it now, I'd be great at that job. I care more. I think about the people eating the food, so I do a good job. I'm way more into washing my hands than I was back then. I'll do them 2 or 3 times a day sometimes. But I got out of it because there's more money elsewhere. So I tried to stay in food service, and I worked at a restaurant. And that job, way worse. Serving people who are hungry is the worst job you can ever have because people are at their worst right before you feed them. And as a server, I can only compare it to, I think, being a stripper. I don't know how else to describe it. But when you serve food in a restaurant, your feet hurt every night, you hate yourself, but you count your cash and you think, one more day. That's what keeps you going. That's what serving in a restaurant is. Because you're bad to those people who are serving you food. You have demands. You tell them stuff and expect excitement from them. Hey, it's my birthday. I don't know who you are. Yeah, but it's my birthday. Do I get free cake or a song? Who, from me? I don't even know you. How do you know it's not my birthday? Sing to me, it's my birthday. No. But you had to. One guy I met didn't have to. It was the best thing I ever saw. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and he was a server. which doesn't get you much in the serving industry until it's someone's birthday. And then guess what? The only thing I know and you know about Jehovah's Witnesses are that they don't celebrate anything. They don't celebrate their own birthday. They're going to celebrate this jerk's kid's birthday. And he told them that. He go, it's my daughter's birthday. Do you sing or anything? And he said, no. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I don't celebrate anything. And they were afraid to offend him, so they go, okay. Like we were on our sections going, what? From that day on, I was a Jehovah's Witness. I gotta go. My name is Graham Chittenden. Thank you.
Up next, Dan Taylor preaches to the choir after the break.
This next comedian is also a full-time church pastor. So as you decide whether he is funny or not, be reminded of Matthew 7, verse 1. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Don't heckle this guy, you'll be smote. Please welcome Dan Taylor.
Wow, thank you for having me, Winnipeg. I am very excited to be here. I am a church pastor, and now I can see that some of you are no longer excited to be here. I get why, though. I mean, there was a survey done in the U.S. recently that said 46% of Americans agreed with the statement, Christians get on my nerves. And all I could think when I heard that was the other 54% did not go to my Bible college. It would have been much higher. So I'm a pastor. I get to preach and teach the Bible, which I love. I have a degree in biblical studies. I get that to some of you that sounds like I just said I have a degree in Dungeons and Dragons. But it's an ancient book, so there's some things that are difficult to reconcile with our contemporary world. And I'm not talking about the big ones like creation and resurrection. Those are true. But there's some other things as well. There's an ancient law in the book of Deuteronomy. It's Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 11 and 12. That says that if two men are involved in conflict and the wife of one tries to help her husband by seizing the other man by the mebusim is the word in Hebrew, by the testicles, show her no mercy, cut off her hand. Which is reasonable, I guess. But what was going on in the ancient world that they had to make that a law? Like, was that some sort of move that they taught at ancient Hebrew finishing school? Like, okay, ladies, here's how you make unleavened bread, and if your husband's in a conflict, grab and twist. I get to do weddings, which are great. Weddings are kind of disappointing because I've yet to be able to convince a bride to come down the aisle to Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions. So I love weddings, but I get to do pastoral counseling and marriage counseling, and people often expect me to have some sort of wisdom about marriage, and I really don't. Like, really long-term relationships become more about endurance than technique at a certain point in time. But I do have this small piece of advice, and that is this: do not argue via text message. And I might not be emotionally equipped to handle texting, because my wife will occasionally text me something perfectly normal, like, where are you? But when I read, where are you, what I hear in my head is, where are you? I'm not good at texting. I think it might be genetic because my mom is also not good at texting. I recently texted my mom and asked her the very simple question, are you guys going to Ontario for Christmas this year? this is the response I received. The geothermal heat pump was to be put in last week. Still waiting. It's supposed to be put in tomorrow, but even if it is, we need to be here to make sure that it works however long that is. We're in the middle of a big storm until at least midnight and then lighter snow tomorrow. We're planning on going to Ontario, but don't know when. The weather is calling for snow all across from Ontario to here until Monday. Renee usually has an open house December 24th, but I haven't heard about it from her. I have no idea who Renee is. Whether she's doing it this year, I would really like to be there for that, to see everyone at once. Christmas Eve was Jerry and Marty's anniversary, so Renee did this for years. Jerry is dating now, so she may not be having it. I hate to ask in case they think that we're looking for an invite. Rod said that we could just drain the water pipes and leave the house without heat, which is what we may end up doing, but the weather is also an issue. I didn't think that we would be here, so I didn't put up a tree this year. There's more. I decorated a little outdoors tree that didn't get out on the deck that was supposed to be built off the dining room. It was supposed to be done long before now, but had to wait until the siding was done. So the long answer is that we would like to go somewhere, but we may end up right here. Rod was watching the weather today, and he's suggesting we leave right after the heat guy finishes and go through the States. However, I think the weather covers a large area, including where we would go through the States, so everything is up in the air. We will try to stay safe. That was a 600-word text message from my mother. 600 words. And I don't know if you noticed, what I noticed right away, she didn't answer the question. I have no idea what she's doing for Christmas. If you get a text message question, you answer quickly and in as few words as possible. Are you guys going to Ontario for Christmas? Don't know whether. Thank you very much. My name's Dan Taylor. Have a good night.
They say hindsight is 20/20. Unless you're like my nan, then it's about 50-50. Please welcome Rachel Sommer.
So I am actually an optometrist. My husband is also an optometrist. We're heaps fun. We have to ask an accountant how to have fun at a party. As an optometrist, patients tell me everything, but I still have to ask the same stupid question. Do you have any allergies to any of the drops I might be using today? And someone will always say, no, but I am allergic to seafood. So I'll tell you what, during this eye exam, I won't use any crayfish, okay? I'll try not to get any pickerel in or near your eye. It will be difficult. We will have to skip the bucket of shrimp part of the examination, but it can be done. One of my patients told me they were allergic to rabbits. I thought, oh great, there goes my big finale. Man comes to see me, sits in my chair. He says, I need my eyes tested, but I'm actually legally blind. I said, oh, I see. He said, sure, rub it in. I put a contact lens in for a patient. They said, it feels like there's something in my eye. I said, there is. I put it there because you paid me to. Patients are very afraid they're gonna lose a contact lens in their eye. I'm like, where's it gonna go? They're like, behind my eye. That's right, behind your eye is just an open space full of lost things. It's like every contact lens you've ever worn, wood chips and pet fur. You go to the airport, they show you the scan of your head, and you're like, there's my mailbox key. Sitting at home the other day, my husband turns to me and he says, I think I've got something in my eye. Like, do you see something in there? I said, I'm trying not to bring work home. It is really hard not to bring work home. You know, quite often I'll say to my husband, does my bum look bigger in outfit 1 or 2? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? When I can't solve a patient's problem, the optometrist, I send them to the specialist, the ophthalmologist. And then the patient will come back to me and they'll say, well, what is the difference between you, the optometrist, and them, the ophthalmologist specialist? And I'll say, I don't know, a Ferrari? Just a note to all my new patients, I will not pretend that you have glaucoma so you can get a prescription for medical marijuana, okay? It's unethical and it's wrong, and I won't do it, so stop asking me. Mom. I had a non-English speaking patient come to see me, brings a translator. These consultations always go as follows. Me, can she read that line of letters, please? Translator, bitte gelesen. Patient, ich kann nicht die lesen, aber ich kann gerechte Geldstrafe sehen und ein Auto zu fahren und es draußen sein zu sehen. Translator, no. And she's allergic to seafood. Okay. Thank you, you've been a great audience. I'm Rachel Sommer.
Please hold for customer service rep Derick Lengwenus when we return.
The most awkward part about working at a job where your boss has gotten his assistant pregnant is having to reset the number of days without accident sign to 0. That's never happened to this next gentleman. Please welcome model employee Derick Lengwenus.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. When I started my career as a stand-up comedian, I decided right away that I would need some part-time job just to get me over the hump, because this career doesn't pay very well, at least in the beginning. I took a job with an insurance company. I'd be working in the claims department. You know that number on the back of your card that you call when you've had an accident or you've been in a claim? That was me. Are you okay? Anyone recognize that voice? I must have said it. I must have said it a million times. Are you okay? I had to. My boss said, hey, Derick, listen to me. People out there think we at the insurance company, we don't give a crap about anybody. That's not true. You ask them if they're okay. All right, boss. Hello, are you okay? All right, well, let's start with your policy number, sir. That's what I had to do. That's what I had to do. I learned a lot of things, though, working at that call center. One of the things I learned was how to tell if somebody was at fault or not in the first 5 seconds of a claim. If a person was not at fault, they cut straight to the details. Cut straight to the details. I was driving through an intersection, buddy busted a red light and T-boned me. Straight to the details. If a person was at fault, it would start something like this. Hi, I was driving my car. Okay, this ought to be good. And it was rush hour. Okay, even better, even better. And the sun was reflecting off my dashboard. I have one of those big dashboards, and it was going right in my eyes. It was like somebody flashed a bulb right in my face. Sir, could you tell me how many people you ran over? Can we get to that? That person doesn't even ask if the rates are going up. They just ask by how much. Car claims were easy, though. Home claims were a bit difficult because you never knew what you were going to get. I remember once I got a call from Quebec. Oui, allô? Okay, I've got a deer in my house. Am I covered for that? No. I was quite proficient at what I did. Eventually, they bumped me up to roadside assistance. I was what they called an elite call taker. Hardest thing about roadside assistance was finding out where people were. This was before GPS, and that was the toughest part. You had to find out where somebody was. You needed an intersection, or maybe a historical landmark, or a mile marker, anything that would help the tow truck driver get to these people. But sadly, most people have no idea where they are. None at all. Except people in Newfoundland. Yes, people in Newfoundland know exactly where they are. Exactly. Hi, roadside assistance, could you tell me where you're located? Oh, I'm in Newfoundland. Where are you at? Sir, could you tell me precisely where you're at in Newfoundland? Tell the driver I'm outside Peter Murphy's house. All right, I'll do that. I remember one guy called me up, and I'll leave you with this. He called me up, and he wouldn't talk to me until I answered 3 questions. Who's the Prime Minister of Canada? What's the capital of Canada? And how many provinces are there in Canada? I got 2 out of 3. And then he said, oh, okay. Well, I guess I can talk to you. I guess you're not in India. And I said, no, sir, I'm not. Because if I was, I probably would have got them all right. Let me just say this. Be nice to people no matter where they're from. Doesn't matter where you are, we're all trying to help each other. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to help each other in our crummy jobs. That's all we're trying to do. So be nice. You never know what the future brings. Maybe the tables could turn someday. You don't know. Maybe someday we'll be taking calls for India. It could happen. Some of your children could get jobs answering the phone going, thank you for calling the help center. My name's Surinder. Don't bullshit me, okay? Your name is not Surinder. No, it is not. No, your name is Tom or Jeff or whatever other honky-tonk name you go by, okay? You connect me to someone in India. I'm not talking to you, you pasty-faced white mother trucker, okay? Sir, I can assure you I'm in India right now. Don't even try. I can smell the barbecue sauce coming through this phone, okay? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Derick Lengwenus. Good night.
After the break, Jonny Harris acts like he's working when the Winnipeg Comedy Festival returns.
They say if you can find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I've been pretty lucky. I've got a job that I love, and I've been at it so long now, you could call it a day job, and that's being an actor on Murdoch Mysteries. Oh, no, yeah. And as an actor, I get treated really well. Like, really well. Like, it's almost weird how well actors get treated. Some of you might be surprised by this, maybe some of you don't. I get driven to work, right? I don't, and for people who are regulars on a series like that, that's the standard. That's sort of the norm. I don't know how it got like that. People say to me, well, I guess it's because they need you to be on time. You can say that about a lot of jobs, right? Like, I mean, a surgeon should be on time. But as far as I know, they drive themselves to work. As far as I know, Sidney Crosby drives himself to work. Do you know what I mean? It's just, we get treated really well. I've actually got a trailer. It's like a room in a trailer that has, it's got a bathroom and a fridge and a TV and whatnot. And when I'm not on set, I can just go and hang out there. I have a little apartment that follows me around. Not a lot of people have that at their work, right? Now, we do work long hours. That's true. A 14-hour day is the norm. But still, all the crew work that long. None of them have a room. Even the director doesn't have a room. People way higher than me, the executive producers. None of them have a room, but actors do. And that sort of got me thinking, like, does that mean that actors have always been sort of a particularly petulant, demanding breed, right? Have we always sort of threatened to throw a tantrum if we're not treated with some absolutely ridiculous amount of. What color is that? What color is that? Yeah, blue. Okay. I'm going to be the bigger person here. Let's just pretend that. One second now. Yes. An apology. An apology. Well, I guess I'd have to hear it. Me? Well, that's not going to happen. Okay. So have we reached an impasse? So what does that mean? Okay, I'll let the audience know. That means I'm looking for a new day job, everybody. Thanks so much. Being a temp can allow someone the opportunity to work, but also still pursue their true passion of being poor. Here's the very funny Michelle Shaughnessy.
Thank you. For 10 years, I have worked as a temp, which means I am in a different office every week. I absolutely love it. Every Monday was like going on a blind date. Instead of lying about my age, I'm lying about my qualifications and my age. And I have tried permanent jobs. I actually worked as a receptionist for a whole year once. Nobody even took the time to get to know my name at that office. They would just call me the receptionist. I had just started doing comedy at the time, and I thought, hey, maybe if I invite the whole office down to watch me do stand-up, it'll help me fit in a little better. They all came down, they watched my show. The next day, they didn't call me the receptionist. They called me the receptionist with issues. I was actually talked to about my appearance at the receptionist job 3 times. 3 times. I'd come into work and they'd say, come on, Michelle, this is a professional office. It's a nice blazer, but it does not go with those yoga pants. You're like, have some pride in your appearance. You need to come into work a little more put together. It's 8 in the morning. I can be on time or I can be put together. Pick one. That would have never happened if I was a temp. For starters, I never, ever took a temp assignment longer than 1 week. Know why? Because that's how long it takes for a proper complaint to go through the HR channels. They actually tried to make me a manager at the receptionist job. They gave me a chance as the office manager. To this day, I still don't know why. I was not a good manager. I would just get so frustrated and so angry because I had employees that would report to me. And they'd call in sick with these excuses, and I'd get so mad because I wish I had thought of those excuses first. As a temp, you can reuse the same excuses over and over and over. When you have a permanent job, you only get 4 grandparent deaths. They keep track. As a temp, my grandma died every Friday in the summer. I had my wisdom teeth out 12 times last year. I actually got fired from the receptionist manager job. I got fired for being late all the time. It was embarrassing. So I got fired and somebody's walking me out and everyone's looking at me and I said to the guy, I said, I know that this is company policy, but it seems like overkill. Why are you escorting me out of the building? He goes, well, company policy because we do it to stop you from stealing. Like, I've been stealing from you all year. You couldn't figure that out, and I'm the one that's getting fired? Everybody steals. You all do it. You all steal. You can't sit there and tell me you've never taken a pen or paper clips or a coworker's boyfriend. I would never date a coworker again. I have learned my lesson with that. I have learned my lesson. I am there to be the temp, not the temptress. I got dumped in an email by my at-work boyfriend while we were working in the same office. It says, "Dear Michelle, I don't think we should see each other anymore." Like, I can see you right now. It was for the best, too. He was always comparing me to his ex. I guess she had a sexier profession. It's like she was a nurse, and she would wear her nurse uniform in bed, and we would do naughty nurse role play. Why can't you be like that? I'm like, maybe I can be a sexy receptionist. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'm gonna be a sexy receptionist. Go wait for me, I'll be there at 9. And I'll show up at 11 in yoga pants. I worked as a waitress for one summer too. I worked as a waitress. So I thought maybe that's sexy. Maybe I can be a sexy waitress and he'll love it. Just come in, tell me what you want. Then I'll go give it to someone else because I was a terrible waitress. Thank you very much, you guys.
Up next, Bruce Clark's fired up about being fired when the Winnipeg Comedy Festival continues.
All right, folks, this next guy has never accepted the mundane life of working at 9 to 5. Every job he's ever had, he's been shit-canned by 3:30. Please welcome Bruce Clark.
Hello, Winnipeg. I'm back home. All right. Oh, this is great to be back here. Before I started doing stand-up, I was a systems analyst, and I was making about $85,000 a year at a company. I had benefits and holidays, and one day I came home and said, "Hey, enough of this money coming into the house. I can make hundreds of dollars a month doing stand-up comedy." The truth is, I've never actually had to quit a job. It's true, because I've been fired from every job I've ever had. Yeah, the last boss told me I was an opinionated contrarian, and I said, "Well, first of all, I disagree. And in my estimation, I think you're the worst manager I've ever had." So I had this computer job, and I thought it was going to be great. You know, I'd have my own office and my own phone. It'd be kind of neat. I'd wear a tie. It'd be great. I'd be a professional. But it was horrible. It was so boring. I couldn't stand it. But fortunately, the place I worked at actually had a movie theater right next door to it. So I'd tell the boss I was going to go see a client, and then I'd go to the movies. I'd see 3 or 4 matinees a week, you know? And so one day he calls me, he says, "Okay, who's this client you keep seeing?" I said, "Harrison Ford." Yeah, you gotta have an education though. I actually never graduated from high school. And for years, I just tell people I was an undergrad. Because I was terrible in school. I actually failed grade 9 mathematics 4 times. Yeah. No, wait. 3 times. So if you don't have an education, you got to get a job. And so the first job I got was a job at the railway, you know? First day, the guy comes over, the foreman says, "Okay, here's the job. We've got a big pile of spikes. You take 50 spikes, you put them in a bag. You put 9 of these bags on this pellet. 2 pellets in the morning, 2 pellets in the afternoon." And I go, "Okay, perfect." And then he goes, "How many spikes is that?" Is there a movie theater around here anywhere, huh? But I mean, I know that education is important now because I actually married a special ed teacher. Yeah, that's how I met my wife. So, yeah, it's great though because she works with adults actually, people who are have mental challenges, low IQs, and learning disabilities, and it's perfect for our relationship because when she gets home, I look like a genius. I don't know, this job, everybody says, oh, stand-up comedy, that must be really hard. You get in front of people and talk to them. That's not that bad. You know, there's a lot tougher jobs, you know? Like, the toughest job, I think, in the world is a rodeo cowboy, you know? You know what I mean? You ever seen these bull riders? They're amazing. They're the toughest guys in the world, you know? Hockey and football, you got helmets, all kinds of padding, auto racing, asbestos suit, fire extinguisher, huh, you know? Bull riding, a felt hat. All right, buddy, hang on for as long as you can. In the event you get knocked off, just before that 2,800-pound beast is about to disembowel you with that razor-sharp horn and then proceed to stomp your brains into the dirt, that little clown is gonna save you. I don't know why. You know, later in life, I learned why I was so bad at jobs. I literally was fired from every job, and I found out later because I started seeing a psychiatrist because I was having some depressive problems. You know, I didn't even know I had the depression until I saw an ad for it on television for depression medication. Yeah. I'm sitting there all and this TV comes on. It's like there's a woman crying in the bathroom. Like, what the hell is this? Jeez. All of a sudden, they start listing the symptoms for depression, you know. Do you hate getting out of bed in the morning? Well, yes, I do. Do you find yourself drinking a lot of alcohol? Well, yes, I do, son of a bitch. These people know me. You know? And then the kicker, do you hate going to work? Yes, I do. All these years, I thought I was just a lazy bastard. I've been in dire need of medical attention. Thank you very much, Winnipeg. You've been great. Thanks so much. Take care. Thank you.
That's it, folks. That's our Quit Your Day Job show. We hope we inspired you to quit your day job and pursue your dreams too. Unless you are the only doctor in a rural town, in which case maybe save your ukulele for your own time. Thanks, Winnipeg. I'm Jonny Harris.